Hi guys, and welcome to Salon CEO. So this is my very first podcast episode. Thank you so much for joining. So I just thought I'd go over a little bit about myself, why I decided to start this podcast, and what Salon CEO is all about. So back in 2006, I first started hairdressing. I've been hairdressing now ever since, what is that? I don't actually know how many years that is. Quite a few years. Anyway, so in 2008 is when I first trained in hair extensions. Obviously, over the years, things have changed dramatically. I definitely started out with a passion of hair, and I still have that passion so much, but now I feel like my passion is more into teaching people. So this is where the idea of Salon CEO come from. I decided that I was going to give up my six-figure salon and tell all of my staff to go work for themselves, and I was going to set up a membership for people who have just trained in hair extensions, step by step, where I can help them achieve their goals, and all the things that I have learned over the years, I've put into a monthly membership for you guys to learn and to exceed in your business. I want to take you from being a passionate hairstylist to a confident businesswoman. This membership and this podcast is going to be all about honesty. It's going to be about failures. It's going to be about the realities of business. I feel like as business owners and hairdressers and hair extensionists that we don't always talk about the best of the best, and we don't always talk about the worst. So this podcast is going to be something very raw. It's going to hopefully give you guys a lot of value. I'm going to talk about situations that I've been in over the years, and hopefully you guys will be able to take this away and learn from my mistakes. So I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of history about myself, what I've done over the years. So when I first started, I actually did a full-time college course. This was actually only 16 hours a week. When you think about it, that's actually crazy. It's nothing. And then I managed to get myself a hairdressing job. So through hairdressing, I was at that salon then I was there for 5 years. So I started off as a junior hairstylist there, and then I worked all my way up to salon manager. I feel like the first salon I ever worked in, my boss at the time taught me so much. She taught me so much about customer care. She taught me about obviously dealing with complaints. I do feel like working in that salon, I learned so much in such a short um, space of time. So then leaving that job, I then went on to being self-employed. So when I was self-employed, I worked in a salon. I was on a percentage rate on that salon, and this really helped me build my client base and obviously made me figure out how to go about working for yourself. As much as I used to do things for my old boss in the salon situation, when you're out on your own and it's on your own terms, there was so much to do. And I do feel like when you first train, you don't ever really know how much is going to be involved. In obviously working for yourself. So then what happened, I was working for myself in that area for like 3 years. And then I met my now husband and I moved areas. So when I moved areas, I obviously moved to Colchester. I didn't know a single person. So what I did at that point, I worked in a salon for a few months to get myself a few clients, and then I was able to go out on my own. This was in 2013. So back then things were very different. There wasn't really people around who done like color and extensions. I feel like you're either an extensionist or you're a hairdresser. So combining the two together just really seemed to work really well for me. There was, like I said, there was no one in my area doing that. I feel like balayage had just become a real popular thing. No one had obviously done that in this sort of area. As well as that, I was someone that did flat tips as a hair extension method. And round here, everyone did micro rings. So where I came from, micro rings was not a thing. Like no one liked them, no one did them. And it was like bonds and flat tips where I used to live. So when I first come here, I feel like maybe I was a little bit different in the sense of I'd done quite a lot of balayage, I'd done flat tips. And then obviously over the years, I added more extension methods. So I feel like just hitting on a few things like over time, things have changed so much. And I do feel like as much as you are confident as a stylist or you're maybe not quite there and figuring things out, it took me so long to realize that how much goes into running a business, and not just the fact of, yeah, I can do my clients, I can be great at hair, but also how much will go into actually running the rest of it. And I do feel like this is something that, which is why I'm so passionate about teaching this and people to do well for themselves, is because there was nothing really out there when I first started. I kind of want to, in this membership and in this podcast, give so much value to the point where you don't have to make the mistakes you've done. Like the mistakes I've made where, I've spoke about it before, where, I spent £50,000 decking out a salon, which is obviously amazing and look beautiful. But I think sometimes we get so caught up on what looks pretty, when actually, if you provide a great service, and I've always done something called hug a client. So this is something that I learned years ago, and hugging a client is not literal, but it's about going above and beyond for your clients. And I feel like if you know what your client wants, or they see that you're going out of the way for them, then this is something they're always more likely to stay with you. Don't get me wrong, obviously over the years things have completely changed, but I do feel like being honest and providing a good service to your client will never ever like die. It will always be such a good thing for you. So it's great, as well as the life I've been able to live with having my salons. It's also been so much in the sense of like going through COVID and different situations that we come across. So the reason why I decided to build this membership was so that you guys know where to start. You have either just trained in a course, or you've done a course years ago and you don't know where to go with it, or you've kind of lost the skill. I know a lot these days where people learn so much on one day, you just don't know how to break it down, or you don't even know where to start. So what I've done on this membership is I've broken it all down for you. So we're going to be covering things like basic knowledge. We're going to be covering hair extension techniques, basic hair extension techniques. We're going to be going through obviously social media, marketing techniques, how to use sales in your business. Like for years I was like, well, I don't really need sales. I just, obviously naturally sell what I like. But you guys need some sort of strategy, how you guys are going to sell your next service, always thinking about the next person going to be coming in. There's so many little things that if I knew this years ago, then I feel like I probably would have been a lot further on in my business than I was at that time. We'll also be covering things like mindset, legal matters. I have been sued twice. And I will go through probably another episode, step by step on what that concurs, because I do feel like people are very quick in this industry, or customers, to say, to scare you into things that you might not be happy to do. So there will be things like that I'm going to be covering, the importance of paperwork, how important it is to keep your like booking system up to date, and what you need to be taking from that booking system. So in this membership, I think I've taken everything that I've learned in, 18 years, and I've put it all down in easy monthly videos for you guys to access and to have support along the way from myself. There will be a section where you can join the Facebook group, and then from that Facebook group you can obviously have access to me. I want you guys to ask me any questions that you have, and I'll be answering them on the next episode. So if you have any questions, then please just make sure you drop a message on the Salon CEO Instagram, and I will be answering these all in the next one. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll speak to you soon.